Yeah.
But it all comes back in the end,
Headband.
doesn't it?
Hey guys, welcome back to another video in London. Today I'm so excited to take you along as I explore the best places for vintage designer shopping in the capital. From hidden gems on the iconic Portobello Road to curated archival pieces in specialist boutiques, London truly has some of the coolest vintage finds. Let's dive in and check out some of my favorite spots. Welcome to a very dreary and dark London. It is only around 3:30 in the afternoon, but guys, this is the reality, it is dark. I am in Notting Hill and I'm doing a very much requested video, and this is my vintage shopping in London video. I'm going to show you guys some of the best places to go vintage designer shopping. You guys loved my vintage designer shopping video on Tokyo, so here we go. Let's check out some of London's best vintage designer stores right now in Notting Hill. If you don't know Notting Hill is one of London's top spots for vintage shopping, you'll definitely recognize it from the iconic movie Notting Hill, where Julia Roberts meets Hugh Grant in a charming bookshop. Today, the area pays homage to the film with plenty of stores selling memorabilia, alongside an array of boutiques offering unique vintage designer clothing. The streets are also lined with stands showcasing watches and antique jewelry, making Notting Hill a true paradise for vintage lovers. The heart of it all is the legendary Portobello Road Market, one of the most famous vintage markets in the world, with countless stands and treasures to explore. It can be a lot to take in, so I recommend setting aside plenty of time and coming with a clear idea of what you're looking for. So as you can see, the market is absolutely massive. It really goes on way down the street. If you've got a lot of time, then it's a great thing to like sift through all the different jewelry, all the different things that they have. However, I have an appointment with one of the coolest vintage stores in London right now. This is by appointment only at the moment, so I'm really excited to go in there and show you some really cool vintage pieces. So Lovers Lane London might just be the coolest vintage store in the entire city. This incredible shop is the brainchild of a talented mother and daughter team and is perfectly situated in the heart of Portobello Road. Due to its popularity, I highly recommend booking an appointment to ensure you can explore this treasure trove of designer vintage. Lovers Lane has some of the most jaw-dropping vintage designer pieces I've ever seen, from Chanel handbags and jewelry to bold one-of-a-kind statement pieces, vintage Gucci, and an impressive selection of vintage Cavalli, my personal obsession. The collection is unparalleled. And let's not forget the iconic Vivienne Westwood pieces, showcasing some of London's finest design heritage. While the pieces are definitely on the higher side, this Westwood top, for example, was priced at £7,000, there's something extraordinary about the rarity of these items and the passion behind sourcing them. The shop itself is full of personality, with quirky signs, posters, and even a display-only faux Birkin that's hilariously nods to Burger King. Charlotte, one of the daughters behind the gem of the store, was so welcoming and friendly, and with such an extensive archive, I could not resist asking her what was her favorite piece in the shop.
This is from the 1970s. It's by a designer called Laura Cesaro. Jane Birkin owned the same dress in white.
Oh my god. Do you know what? It looks familiar.
It's so rare and it's just like so special. It's part of our permanent archive.
Oh my god, that's amazing. So what would make this like unsellable?
Well, we'd never find it again.
You won't find it again.
There is no way. And also I think like the history behind it is so special.
Oh my god.
That with these kinds of pieces, like, why would you sell it?
Yes.
And I love that, like, even though it's not by like one of those designers like you'd think of when you hear like designer vintage, like you think of like Gucci, Chanel.
See, I haven't even heard of the designer, I'll be honest.
Laura Cesaro, amazing. Loris Azaro. If you saw someone like wearing it now, you'd think it was made in 2024. And it all comes back in the end, doesn't it?
Charlotte was also kind enough to show me a stunning dress, which is for sale. This incredible piece was featured on the cover of Cosmopolitan in the 1970s and more recently worn by Naomi Campbell. While I didn't buy anything here since it was above my price range, I still highly recommend a visit if you're searching for a truly special piece or just want to marvel at an unbelievable archive of vintage designer clothing. The next stop on my list was Vault Vintage, also located in Notting Hill and just a 10-minute walk from Portobello Road. This store boasts a fantastic selection of vintage designer pieces with a wide range of price points. Vault Vintage specializes in jewelry, bags, and women's clothing, and their philosophy is all about combining style with sustainability, proving that shopping vintage can still be an incredible incredible experience. I couldn't agree more, the store itself is such a delight to explore, with little drawers to sift through for hidden treasures and a treasure trove of clothing to browse. I was obsessed with a pair of Versace trousers, but unfortunately they weren't my size. I was actually on the hunt for a handbag and found myself spoiled for choice. The selection was amazing with great prices to match. After much deliberation, I narrowed it down to a Miu Miu bag and a Prada bag. I ultimately chose the Prada bag. It was the perfect size, small enough to carry around, yet big enough to fit all the essentials. It actually kind of reminded me of a Fendi baguette. I also couldn't resist adding on some adorable beaded bag charms that were available in store. Vault Vintage is definitely a spot I'd recommend for anyone looking for unique and stylish finds. Another amazing experience, guys. I am so impressed so far. I've had 2 amazing shopping experiences, and this one was, well, I ended up buying something. I don't know too much about this bag, but it was quite a good deal. I just found that place was really unique. It had a lot of really interesting pieces, and the price points were really great as well. So if you're looking for something a bit more accessible, then I think that the Vault Vintage is definitely for you. Anyways, let's go move on to my final stop, which is Pandora Vintage in Knightsbridge. With my purchase in hand, I headed over to Pandora Vintage in Knightsbridge. It was established in 1947 and has stood the test of time, and honestly, it's easy to see why. This definitely has the biggest selection of designer clothing that I've seen in London. There's incredible pieces from old to new. I definitely think that if you're looking for some things that are perhaps slightly newer, then this is the place to go. But there's a huge selection of Chanel handbags or Louis Vuitton, but I think Chanel's definitely where they have it. And I've seen prices from £2,000 for Chanel handbags, which is really not that bad. Their Chanel collection is absolutely incredible, and it features everything from rare coveted handbags to those iconic classic flat bags that are so hard to come by. The selection doesn't stop at accessories. They also have a stunning range of Chanel clothing, especially coats and suits. A selection of Chanel coats, which are really coveted, so if you're looking for that special piece, then this is definitely the place to go for it. Beyond their Chanel offerings, Pandora boasts an impressive array of handbags, with rows of them even hanging from the ceiling. They feature nearly every designer you can imagine, but Dior and Gucci bags have a particularly strong presence alongside timeless Louis Vuitton pieces. While not everything here is vintage, many items are pre-loved, including in-fashion handbags that are lightly used but still completely on trend. The shoe selection is equally noteworthy, offering a mix of vintage treasures and iconic classics like Gucci loafers and Manolo Blahnik heels and ballerinas. The staff were so friendly and even let me try on some accessories, but what really caught my attention was the clothing. This is where I think the true bargains are hiding. Some shirts are priced as low as £100. With a little patience and a good sift through the racks, you can find beautifully priced pieces from brands like YSL, Celine, and more. Okay, I'm trying a few pieces on, and this is the first one. This is a Balenciaga shirt, and oh my goodness, I am obsessed with this. I mean, the material is fantastic, and I love this little opening over here. For around £150. This is actually a really, really good price, and so I definitely think I'm going to be getting this. Yeah, this one doesn't fit. I ended up leaving with the Balenciaga shirt. It was just too good of a deal to pass up. Notting Hill and Knightsbridge are packed with hidden gems offering incredible vintage designer and pre-loved pieces, but honestly the options in London are endless. If you're into vintage shopping, make sure to check out some of my other London videos where I explore even more hotspots like the iconic Brick Lane. There's so much more vintage magic to uncover in the city, so stay tuned for more content like this coming very soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.